again at Popeyes? Here's a hint. Need a bigger hint? That's right, honey. It's the $5 Bonafide Big Box. 2 pieces of my chicken or 3 handcrafted tenders. Your choice of 2 sides and 1 of my biscuits for just $5. Most folks' idea of a $5 deal is not a meal, honey.
You got this here giant burger and a soda.
That's not a meal. This is a meal. Come and get it while it lasts, because it will not last long. That's a big box.
All right. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Oh, boy. Look, let me tell you, we got a good one today, as usual. And let me go ahead and just tell you guys up front, I was having some major technical difficulties. My printer just decided it didn't want to cooperate today. So, because I don't believe in allowing anything to stop forward progress, I'm going to be reading off my phone. So hopefully the notes that I made will, get me through it. But thank you for checking out another podcast of We Aint Scared Talk, where we ain't scared. My name is A1. And as always, I want to thank you for just taking the time to push that button or tap on that link. I know everybody's got things they're doing. Family, it's the holiday season, and Black Friday just passed, so a lot of people are out spending money and trying to make the holidays special for family and friends. And I would just encourage you, please don't overextend yourself. Please be smart about your spending. And these holidays are going to come and they're going to go, and you will be the one left with the bills. So you can have a good holiday just being with your family and your friends. All right. So just to continue, let's see. Oh, the We Ain't Scared Talk mugs. Thank you so much to everyone that has bought a mug. I am so grateful, so appreciative. These We Ain't Scared Talk mugs, strong, black. They can handle anything hot, anything. They will make you smarter. And listening to these podcasts while you're drinking out of these mugs, oh my God, your IQ is going to, Einstein will seem like he had some mental challenges. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. We take a quick sippy sip. All right, so that opening intro, Popeyes, love that chicken from Popeyes. Oh, man, this podcast is going to either be very, very good or it's just going to, no, it's always going to be good. But the word chicken and black folks is always, it's probably at times like a dog whistle to a lot of stereotypes. And the irony is white folks eat more chicken than black people ever will. KFC, that's one of the biggest chicken franchises in the world. And that's white folks eating that. But somehow black folks have been saddled with this negative stereotype. But more on that in just a moment. Here's the title. Why are black people losing our minds behind a chicken sandwich? Or it could have said, why are black people losing our minds over a chicken sandwich? Oh boy, here we go. So, the term chicken and black people, unfortunately, has taken on an ugly stereotype. And that's based on slavery. And the fact that they call them yard birds. I know that's a familiar term in a lot of the black community, or chicken, for chickens. And basically the word yard birds, for those who don't know, during slavery, black people were left with the scraps or what was left over after the massa and the big house decided that they didn't want anything else to eat. A lot of the scraps, that's where a lot of the soul food comes from in a lot of our diets. And we literally, as black people, just had to make the best out of whatever was left. And we usually turned it into a meal. I won't say it was sustainable, but it got us through. and there's some lasting, I'll say, residue from that. So chickens in and of themselves are harmless, but coupled with the white racial animosity against black people, it has become a linchpin of easy fodder to make fun of black people. Kind of like with the whole watermelon thing, which again is another example of a food item that mostly, white people eat watermelon at higher rates than black people. But again, racism decided, okay, well, we're going to pin that on black people. But anyway, to continue, all right, and let me just say out front, I love chicken. There's nothing wrong with chicken. Chicken is good. All right, so let's give some backstory on Popeye's chicken and their release of this chicken sandwich. Man, this happened in August of 2019. Literally, a bomb exploded. It went off in the black community, and it's still happening, okay? But all over America. Popeye's chicken sandwiches landed, and they were greeted with a crush of black folks fighting, clawing, and scratching to get a taste. And some black people, not all, went out of their way to get their hands on this chicken sandwich. Now, for those who don't know, just a little sidebar here. How do I say this? So, Chick-fil-A, we'll put them right side by side with Popeye's chicken. Chick-fil-A is mostly in affluent or white areas, whereas Popeye's chicken is mostly in black areas. Why that is, I don't know. Some of you may already know this. Burger King Corporation actually owns Popeye's chicken. And not that makes it any better, but just so that you know essentially how they, some of the backstory. But to get back on point, it's been chaotic, a literal chaos. People have gone viral. In my opinion, I think they're just setting up these brawls and fights, and people have been stabbed. People have been arrested. People, they've gotten into physical altercations behind the counter, in front of the counter. They are working overtime at these restaurants, these Popeye's chicken franchises, to fill this demand. Okay, Popeye's chicken sold 1,000 chicken sandwiches per day for roughly 60 days. Now, this is over all of their franchises. I don't have a final number, but suffice it to say, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of chicken sandwiches were sold in the black community over a 60-day period. And then they ran out. So obviously they were just testing it. And this is where I struggle. Everybody obviously has a right to eat or choose what they want to eat regardless. And black people are no different. And as I said earlier, chicken is very popular in the black community because it's cheap. Okay, let's just be honest. It's cheap food. That's why fast food is so popular in the black community. The salary levels are different in the black community because of systemic discrimination and oppression. Wage slavery is what I'll call it. Black people have limited options in a lot of areas of our lives in the black community. And it's just the way things have turned out. And so just kind of keep that in mind, because you can look at it on the surface level and say, oh, why are they acting like that? And, black people are criticizing black people too. You're just acting stupid. You're acting ignorant. Well, I think there's always a top layer that's an easy headline. And then there's the reality that there are people in this world, but in this country, that are trapped in this socioeconomic bondage where anything that you can consume or that you can get your hands on that's going to give you some comfort, it's comfort food. for a lot of people. And it's also, we can finally get a taste of something that we don't have to drive 20 miles outside of our neighborhoods to enjoy. That's some of it as well. So, and I already alluded to the fact that, as most of you know, there's no Chick-fil-A restaurants in the hood. So it has this sort of upper class or high profile or, sort of perspective, when it comes to that chicken sandwich. Oh, this is the rich chicken sandwich with Chick-fil-A. And then the Popeyes chicken is kind of viewed as, well, that's the poor chicken. So we got to really dig in, okay? And honestly, if we're going to look at it from a product standpoint, Popeyes, they did a good job. They did a really good job of coming up with a product that people like, that they enjoy. And it's business. It's a product. This could have been a widget, for just a generic term. There's a lot of widget companies, and Popeyes just happened to come up with a widget that there is a market for. And I know some people have made jokes. They've talked about Boondocks and that episode that joked about the chicken apocalypse. And some would say, well, we're living it. Come on. I'm not going to go that far, but it is ironic. So, as I said earlier, the chicken sandwiches were so surprisingly popular that Popeyes ran out. And now they're back. So, trust me when I tell you, there is undoubtedly an endless supply of chicken sandwiches for Black people to consume. And I jokingly said, when the feeding frenzy began, what are they putting in these chicken sandwiches? I mean, is it crack? I mean, what is it? Now, while I was joking, there was a movie and Black Dynamite, and they had this malt liquor, and there was a sort of conspiracy theory that they enhanced it with something that would shrink the male organs of Black men. And I'm not saying that there's something nefarious going on with the chicken sandwiches, but we do need to sort of dig beneath the surface and really start to deal with, okay, what is in the chicken sandwich that could cause some short-term or long-term health concerns. So here we go. The main ingredient in these sandwiches, aside from chicken, you guys, don't communicate with me, it's chicken's the main ingredient. Yeah, I know that. But it's sodium. It's salt. And I read a statistic, and it said that over 1,600 grams of salt is in each sandwich, okay? The American Heart Association, because this is important, recommends that no more than 1,500 milligrams of salt per day should be consumed daily by adults. Well, unless you're living on one Popeyes chicken sandwich per day, you're probably doubling that amount that you're consuming, and that's my concern. Black people have the highest rates of high blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, and many other health problems that no other group has to contend with. And the leading cause of these diseases tends to be too much salt in our diet. There's some where it's too much sugar. So it just depends. And so when a restaurant creates a sandwich that immediately jeopardizes our health and makes millions of dollars as a result, then caution should be the order of the day for Black people. Now, with that being said, here are the realities that prevent that from happening in the Black community or with Black people when it comes to consuming these chicken sandwiches. Number one, fast food is cheap. And I think that's probably, again, the biggest component to all this. You can usually get a meal combo for under $8. Okay. Number two, most inner city black folks are usually working a job where minimum wage is the norm, thereby limiting their healthy food options. And a lot of you know this. If you wanted to buy a salad at a lot of these places, you're talking $10 or more. And that's without a drink. So are there healthy options? Sure. Should healthy options be the first choice? Yes. However, when you have small kids and a small budget, let's be honest, cheaper is an instant sort of go-to, because guess what? You have rent, you have lights, you probably have a car note, and various other bills that you got to take care of. So on the one hand, it's easy to say, make good choices, eat better. But when your financial situation dictates that you economically are limited, I don't care who you are, and I don't care where you're from, you're going to always go to the path of least resistance, because you want to save money. You want to save money. And unfortunately, it's black people, we're losing that battle, literally our lives because of it. All right? So to continue, it's easy for those that do not live in these daily conditions to condemn and chastise poor people. And but the truth is, I can imagine that someone in that situation is and what they're thinking is, finally, a decent chicken sandwich. And as I said, I don't have to drive 30, 40 miles to get it at the nearest Chick-fil-A. It's right here. So even with the risk of all the salt intake, black people, they're willing to risk it. And yes, death is a constant concern. It's not just death from a chicken sandwich. It's death by police or harassment or no health insurance that could help you get a checkup. Police brutality. A lot of poor black people are on public transportation, and simply walking down the street, in a lot of instances, is dangerous for black people. So there's a lot of hurdles and obstacles that we face constantly that are a threat to our lives. Now, I can easily imagine that most people, they don't give salt a second thought, okay? And I get that. It's flavor, it's taste. But we do have to try, okay? And this is not me chastising or admonishing the black community, because I am well aware of the limitations that we face daily, okay? So let me just clear that up. I'm not coming down on black people. I'm not coming down on situations that we face every day that we didn't cause, that we didn't put ourselves in. We didn't redline ourselves into a lot of these communities where our options are limited. Okay, poor black people are usually the last people that the food and beverage industry really cares about. They really don't give a damn. It's sad, but they know that hunger and limited options makes us easy targets. That's just the truth. Easy targets for experimenting with foods and food products. I mentioned earlier, Burger King owns Popeyes. And, Popeyes is not the poster child for healthy eating. It never has been. It never has been. And I dare say it probably never will be. But again, since black folks don't control what restaurants, fast food restaurants, come and go in our neighborhoods, we are at the mercy of whatever shows up. And again, I'm not, let me just say this. I haven't tried the chicken sandwich. I think I have to say that. I don't know. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I didn't want to get caught up in the feeding frenzy of it all, but I haven't tried it, so I can't knock it. And to be honest, I don't even know if I even want to try it because I don't really trust what could be in it in terms of ingredients that they're not telling us. I'm certain, like in most foods, there's some other chemicals that might be present in addition to the salt. Now, it looks great. I'll be honest, when you look at the sandwich, it looks immaculate. Big breast meat. I mean, it looks good. But I'm not convinced that the daily or frequent consumption of these sandwiches won't lead to short-term health problems that will not be rectified by just saying or just stopping and not eating them. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Now, here's the other sad reality in most poor black folks. As I alluded to about medical insurance, there's no health insurance to begin with. Okay? So even diagnosing high blood pressure or hypertension is not possible. We usually just go until we fall. We work and we move forward until there's some medical emergency, and then we're in the ER and we have some cardiac or respiratory problem. Now, does that mean that the fast food industry is to blame? Partially, I think, yes. But also, this is America. Consumption is, part of capitalism. And while I wish that wasn't the case, I wish we took better care of poor people, I have to say, and I wrote this as a little side note here, it does feel predatory. It really does. It feels predatory, like they can experiment with the worst kinds of ingredients on poor people because they know hunger and eating, that's how you live. And again, when you have limited food options and all you want to do is eat, I'm not even going to say what most people are, probably thinking. Boycott Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Boycott. Nah, come on. That's not even realistic. You're not going to boycott food because you have to eat. And if you only have one or two good restaurants in your area, what are you going to do then? Okay? Most of the people saying boycott and leave it alone, they got so many options for eating that Popeyes was never on the list of their choices to begin with. There are people that depend, as I said earlier, on any kind of cheap food option to survive. So again, who am I to judge? Or you for that matter? Now, as I said, I hope the initial surge in violence that is associated with buying these chicken sandwiches subsides because, again, nobody should lose their life or go to jail over a chicken sandwich. You're crossing the line there. Okay, we gotta reel that in. We gotta get a hold of ourselves. It's outrageous. It is. But my other thought is that this comfort food or escape food from the daily pain of the inner city, I believe that there are, and this is a known fact, endorphins are released that relax the mind and bring just a few minutes of happiness in an otherwise stressful life. And should people be vilified because they're seeking an escape? No, but it's definitely still a health hazard. But again, options, limited. What do? You do the best you can, and you just leave the rest up to God. I don't really know what else to say other than that because, again, you got to eat. And I love my people, but I'm also at the same time concerned that there are so many forces at work to harm or to kill us that we are outnumbered based on desperation and just trying to survive. Is there an easy answer to this? No. We're being preyed upon. And sadly, non-black people view us as, pun not intended, an easy meal ticket. You know, I wish I could scoop up everyone in the hood and relocate them to the suburbs where the white folks are and the clean water is and healthy choices are abundant. But I can't. And the only thing I can say is just be careful. You know, be careful. Kids are being raised on it, and your life shouldn't be at risk, literally and physically, just because you want to eat a chicken sandwich. It's a sad commentary on where we are as a country. And it's also, I think it's good also because it tells us where economically the black community is as well. We need more opportunities. We need better choices, of course. But this is America. This is where we are. So eat the chicken sandwich. Try to watch the intake, how much, and just do the best you can. That's really all that can be said. Okay? Now, I know you have your own thoughts on this topic, and that's great. You may love that chicken sandwich from Popeyes. Please keep the conversation going. You know, one other funny thought. There was another conspiracy theory that said, well, look, the black female actress who speaks about Popeye's chicken, they didn't shoot a commercial with her promoting this chicken sandwich. And even though it's a white female CEO, the black female spokesman, there's like, people are thinking, well, how come they didn't get the black female who's usually promoting their products to promote the chicken sandwich? What's going on there? I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, I want to thank you for checking out another podcast of We Ain't Scared Talk. My name is A1, and you got some good food for thought. Chicken sandwich food for thought. Listen again. Tell a friend. We ain't scared.